Marcus Aurelius once remarked that another person cannot harm you without your consent. You are only hurt when you allow yourself to be. In Stoicism, it's believed that when someone makes a harsh remark, the incident itself is neutral, neither good nor bad inherently. It carries no emotional value until you assign meaning to it. Your reaction to the event, whether it disturbs you or brings you calm, is based on your interpretation. That's why Marcus Aurelius also mentioned in his Meditations that you always have the choice to remain indifferent. There's no need to become agitated or let your inner peace be disturbed by things beyond your control. These matters aren't seeking your judgment. Just leave them be. When will you stop choosing sadness or unhappiness? Stoics understand that our emotional state is shaped by our own responses. Our choices are shaped by how we perceive the world around us. When faced with a personal setback, you can react by seeing it as an unfair blow, leading to feelings of sadness and powerlessness. Or you can view it as a unique opportunity for growth and learning, which can foster a more empowering emotional state. This demonstrates that the same event can result in vastly different experiences based on one's mental perspective. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this Stoic principle. You have control over your mind, not over external events. Understanding this can empower you on your journey. We will delve into deep insights from Stoic philosophers who taught that true emotional mastery comes not from suppression, but from transformation and comprehension. Lesson 1 explores the art of Stoic emotional resilience. Why do we often find ourselves overwhelmed by emotions that seem to dominate us rather than the other way around? The Stoics offered a profound explanation. It's not the emotions themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. Marcus Aurelius once observed, "You have control over your mind, not over external events. Understand this, and you will find strength." This core principle introduces us to the practice of Stoic emotional resilience. Stoicism teaches that emotions arise from our judgments, suggesting that by changing our perspectives, we can significantly alter our emotional experience. The first step is to recognize that our initial emotional reactions are not definitive. How often do you consider how you often react immediately to situations without taking a moment to reflect? The Stoic approach emphasizes taking a brief pause, a breath between the event and your response, so you can respond with reason rather than being driven by immediate impulses. Picture handling life's challenges with a calm and composed mindset. This isn't a distant ideal, but a tangible reality, achievable through disciplined Stoic practice. It demands ongoing effort to examine and manage the beliefs that underpin your emotional reactions. Have you ever thought about what drives your emotional responses? Often, it's a deeply rooted belief or judgment that we can uncover and analyze. The Stoics teach us that by understanding the origins of our emotions, we can start to manage their impact on us more effectively. How do you currently handle negative emotions? The Stoic approach involves actively engaging with our feelings through a technique known as cognitive distancing, where we view our emotions from an outsider's perspective to diminish their intensity. Can you think of a moment when changing your viewpoint turned a difficult situation around? This represents the core of Stoic emotional resilience, transforming challenges into opportunities for personal growth. Each emotional experience can become a lesson in self-awareness and self-improvement. What steps can you take today to begin mastering your emotions? Start with the straightforward yet powerful practice of journaling. Each day, record instances where your emotions felt overwhelming and delve into. Exploring alternative perspectives on a situation helps in developing a more measured and controlled response over time. Stoics didn't merely theorize about emotional resilience, they practiced it. By incorporating these principles into our daily routines, we too can attain the deep stability and contentment associated with Stoic emotional mastery. Lesson 2. Cultivating the Stoic mindset to manage anger. Why is anger often seen as one of the most disruptive emotions we encounter? The Stoics viewed anger as a major barrier to wisdom. Seneca, a notable Stoic philosopher, described anger as a fleeting madness that ignites the soul and leads to regrettable actions. To adopt a Stoic approach to managing anger, one must first understand its underlying causes and triggers. Anger usually emerges when we perceive an injustice, or when our expectations are unmet. The Stoics teach us to challenge the legitimacy of our expectations and the sense of justice we seek from the world. By adjusting our expectations to align with human nature and life's inherent unpredictability, we can lessen both the frequency and intensity of our anger. How can we integrate Stoic principles into daily annoyances and grievance? One effective approach is the premeditation of evils, a Stoic practice where we mentally prepare for potential challenges or misfortunes before they arise. This mental preparation helps us face them with calm and reason when they do occur, thus reducing the impact of anger. During moments of anger, the Stoics recommend employing a technique called the view from above. This method involves imagining yourself from a broader perspective, allowing you to see the larger context, and recognizing the temporary nature of a situation can help lessen its personal impact and foster a more composed reaction. To manage anger as it arises, consider immediate strategies such as deep breathing, counting to 10, or briefly removing yourself from the situation. These techniques create a pause, giving you time to engage your rational mind and respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. By incorporating these Stoic practices into your daily life, you build a strong emotional resilience against anger. This proactive approach not only improves your personal relationships by reducing conflicts, but also supports your overall well-being. Consistent practice of Stoic principles can lead to anger management becoming an integral part of our character, enabling us to live with greater peace and resilience. Lesson 3. Embracing Stoic flexibility to overcome fear. Why do fears frequently prevent us from living our fullest lives? The Stoics believe that fear arises from our perceptions of the unknown and our lack of control or predictability over outcomes. To manage fear effectively, we need to adopt Stoic flexibility, which involves adjusting our attitudes and expectations to better align with reality. This means acknowledging that many of the things we fear are either not as severe as we think or completely beyond our control. Fear often emerges from a perceived threat to our safety, comfort, or stability. The Stoic practice of distinguishing between what we can and cannot control helps alleviate irrational fears. By concentrating our efforts on our own actions and attitudes, elements within our control, we can maintain calm and reason, even in the face of uncertainty. How can we train ourselves to better accept life's unpredictability? One Stoic technique is to frequently reflect on the transient nature of situations and our own ability to adapt. This mental exercise lessens the impact of fear by making change and uncertainty seem more normal and manageable. Understanding the natural and manageable aspects of life can help us embrace Stoic flexibility. One effective method for facing our fears is to gradually expose ourselves to them in a controlled and rational way. This approach, similar to exposure therapy in modern psychology, aligns with Stoic principles by helping us build confidence and diminish the control that fear exerts over us. What role does reflection play in overcoming fear? By reflecting on past experiences where we successfully managed or overcame fears, we can strengthen our ability to handle future uncertainties. This process builds psychological resilience rooted in personal experience and Stoic wisdom, empowering us to approach new challenges with courage and calm. By integrating these Stoic strategies into our daily routines, we can transform our relationship with fear. Rather than acting as a barrier to our actions, fear can become a signal for us to engage more deeply with our Stoic practices, fostering growth and resilience. Through this process, we not only improve our own lives, but also demonstrate to others how to live courageously and peacefully, regardless of external conditions. Lesson 4. Mastering emotional responses with Stoic acceptance. Why do our reactions to events often intensify our emotional distress? Stoicism teaches that it's not the events themselves that upset us, but how we respond to them. To gain control over our emotional responses, we must practice Stoic acceptance. This involves recognizing whatever happens as part of a rational universe and understanding that we have the power to choose our reactions, thus reducing emotional turmoil. Stoic acceptance begins with the realization. Recognizing that many of the things we react to are beyond our control can help us focus our energy on what we can actually influence: our thoughts, perceptions, and actions. This shift from concentrating on external factors to focusing on internal ones is essential for maintaining emotional stability and is a fundamental aspect of Stoic philosophy. How can we incorporate Stoic acceptance into our daily lives? One effective practice is daily reflection, where we review our reactions to the events of the day each evening. This routine helps us spot patterns in our emotional responses and offers insights into how we can adjust our reactions for more favorable outcomes in the future. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus stress the importance of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. By mentally rehearsing this distinction, when we differentiate between what we can and cannot control during calm periods, we prepare ourselves to apply this understanding more effectively when faced with emotional challenges. This preparation helps us respond with reason rather than impulsivity. What specific strategies can we use in emotionally charged situations? Techniques like taking a brief pause before reacting, engaging in deep breathing to calm our physiological response, and considering how a Stoic philosopher might handle the situation, all be beneficial. These methods provide a pause between the stimulus and our response, allowing for a more thoughtful and deliberate approach to emotional events. By integrating these practices into our daily lives, we gradually gain greater mastery over our emotional reaction. Over time, Stoic acceptance becomes a natural and integral part of our character. Stoic practice isn't just a set of techniques, but a way of life that strengthens our resilience and helps us approach life's challenges with composure and balance. This transformation is at the heart of Stoic emotional mastery, equipping us to navigate our lives with grace and poise. Lesson 5. The Stoic approach to overcoming envy. Why does envy often drain so much of our emotional energy? Envy surfaces when we compare our lives unfavorably to those of others, leading us to feel deprived or inferior. The Stoics believed that focusing on such external comparisons undermines personal virtue and inner peace. To counteract envy, we should shift our focus towards self-improvement and finding contentment in our own journey, independent of others. Stoic teachings stress the importance of concentrating on what is within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. By directing our energy towards personal growth rather than external comparisons. By shifting our focus away from comparisons, we can lessen feelings of envy. This change helps us value our unique journey and recognize our own progress, leading to a sense of fulfillment that isn't dependent on others. How can we apply Stoic principles to reduce envy in our everyday lives? One effective method is to practice gratitude. By regularly reflecting on what we appreciate in our own lives, we redirect our attention from what others have to the abundance we already possess. This practice not only reduces envy, but also improves overall life satisfaction. Another Stoic strategy for managing envy involves contemplating the impermanence of external wealth, fame, and possessions. The Stoics remind us that these things are fleeting and ultimately do not lead to lasting contentment. Understanding this concept can diminish the hold envy has on our emotions and shift our focus toward more enduring and meaningful goals. What role does self-awareness play in overcoming envy? Being aware of what triggers our feelings of envy allows us to address these emotions more thoughtfully. When we recognize envy arising, we can use Stoic reflection to assess the validity and usefulness of these feelings. This approach helps weaken envy's influence and bolsters our emotional resilience. By incorporating Stoic practices into our emotional toolkit, we can effectively manage envy and foster a life of contentment and gratitude. This not only enhances our well-being, but also strengthens our relationships with others, as we replace envy with genuine happiness for their successes. The Stoic path teaches us that true joy originates from within and is unaffected by the successes or failures of others. Lesson 6. Stoic strategies for cultivating patience. Why is patience often so challenging to develop in today's fast-paced world? The Stoics believed that impatience arises from having unrealistic expectations about how the world should work and overestimating our control over external events. To cultivate patience, we need to adjust our expectations to align with the realities of nature and human behavior, recognizing that many outcomes are beyond our direct influence. According to Stoic philosophy, patience is not just a virtue but a sign of profound wisdom and understanding. It involves accepting the natural progression of events and our limited role in them. By adopting this perspective, we can lessen our frustrations and create a more harmonious relationship with the passage of time. How can we incorporate Stoic principles into our practice of patience? In everyday interactions, one effective way to practice patience is to deliberately slow down our responses when we feel the impulse to react hastily, especially in stressful situations. Taking a moment to pause enables us to respond more thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This brief pause provides an opportunity to apply Stoic principles of acceptance and understanding before taking action. Another practical approach to developing patience is to regularly meditate or reflect on the temporary nature of our frustrations. Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about the fleeting nature of life's challenges. Contemplating this perspective helps us recognize that many of the things that test our patience may not be as important in the long run as they seem in the moment. What role does empathy play in cultivating patience? By striving to understand the perspectives and challenges faced by others, we gain a better appreciation for why things might not always go as planned. This empathy can help extend our patience, as we recognize that others, like us, are dealing with their own difficulties and complexity. Incorporating these Stoic strategies into our daily lives can significantly change how we handle situations that test our patience. Over time, practicing these techniques not only improves our interactions with others, but also fosters a more peaceful and contented state of mind. By developing patience, we align more closely with Stoic principles, promoting a life of virtue and tranquility. Lesson 7. Harness Stoic courage in the face of adversity. Why is courage considered more than just dealing with physical threats? Stoic philosophy asserts that true courage encompasses not only facing physical dangers, but also managing internal struggles such as fear, doubt, and despair. This kind of courage demands a profound understanding of what truly merits fear and what does not. Guided by reason and wisdom, it involves the willingness to endure discomfort and uncertainty in pursuit of virtue and personal growth. Stoic courage is about upholding moral integrity and purpose even when external conditions are challenging. It's not about the absence of fear, but about mastering it, enabling us to act according to our principles despite potential consequences. This form of courage is developed through a clear grasp of our own values and the fleeting nature of life's obstacles. How can we apply Stoic courage to our daily issues? One practical approach is to face small fears regularly, gradually building our resilience and preparing ourselves for more significant challenges. Facing challenges, whether it's speaking up in a meeting or tackling a personal conflict, helps build our capacity to handle more significant adversity. By regularly practicing courage in smaller situations, we develop a habit that strengthens our overall character. Another important aspect of nurturing Stoic courage involves reflecting on past instances where we have demonstrated bravery, persevered through difficulty. Recognizing these moments reinforces our ability to act courageously in the future. This reflection not only enhances our confidence, but also provides a useful framework for approaching future challenges. Courage. What role does community play in fostering courage? Stoics believe that courage is not just an individual trait, but also a communal quality. By supporting and drawing strength from others who share our values, we can enhance our own courage. This communal aspect helps us feel less isolated in our struggles, making it easier to remain steadfast in our beliefs and actions. Incorporating Stoic principles into our daily routines allows us to face challenges with a balanced perspective, viewing them as opportunities to demonstrate and deepen our courage. Shifting our mindset from seeing adversity as a threat to recognizing it as a chance for growth captures the essence of Stoic courage and transforms our interactions with the world. Lesson 8. Stoic approach to cultivating contentment. Why do we often find it challenging to achieve contentment in our lives? According to Stoic philosophy, discontent often stems from misguided desires, unrealistic expectations about what is needed for happiness. Lesson 8. The Stoic approach to cultivating contentment. Why do we often find it challenging to achieve contentment in our lives? According to Stoic philosophy, discontent often stems from misguided desires and unrealistic expectations about what is needed for happiness. Stoics advocate for a simpler life, where contentment is found not through external possessions, but through inner virtues. By focusing on what is truly essential, we can minimize our desires and enhance our overall satisfaction with life. In Stoic philosophy, contentment is achieved by valuing what we already have, instead of yearning for more. This involves regular self-reflection to differentiate between our wants and needs, and fostering gratitude for our existing blessing. Practicing gratitude shifts our focus from a mindset of scarcity, which fixates on what is lacking, to an abundance mindset, which appreciates what is present. How can we practically embrace Stoic contentment? One effective approach is to practice daily meditations that emphasize the temporary nature of material possessions and the enduring value of ethical virtues. These meditations help us detach from fleeting desires and focus more on personal development and moral excellence. Another practical step is to limit exposure to sources that amplify desire and comparison, such as social media or highly competitive environments. By setting boundaries around these influences, we can better concentrate on our own values and objectives, thereby nurturing genuine contentment. This approach aligns with the Stoic principle of controlling what is within our power, our attention and attitude. What role does simplifying our lives play in achieving contentment? Simplification involves removing unnecessary distractions and concentrating on what truly matters. This may include decluttering our physical space, streamlining our daily routines, and focusing on activities that resonate with our core values allows us to simplify our lives. This streamlining helps us breathe more easily, think more clearly, and find joy in simple pleasures. By integrating these Stoic practices, we foster a life of contentment that remains resilient against external pressures and is aligned with our deepest values. This contentment is an active choice, not a passive acceptance, reflecting a life of simplicity, gratitude, and virtue. Through these practices, we embrace the Stoic ideal of a fulfilled life rooted in self-sufficiency and serene acceptance. Lesson 9. Embracing change with Stoic adaptability. Why is adaptability considered a key virtue in Stoic philosophy? Stoicism teaches that change is the only constant in life, and resisting this natural process leads to unnecessary suffering. To live in harmony, we must develop adaptability. Adaptability is the capacity to handle life's constantly shifting circumstances with calm and wisdom. This Stoic virtue enables us to stay resilient amidst the unpredictability of life. In Stoic terms, adaptability means being flexible enough to adjust our plans and expectations as situations evolve. It involves a deep awareness that our control extends primarily to our own actions and attitudes, rather than the external events happening around us. By concentrating on how we can adapt rather than resist, we preserve our emotional energy and sustain our inner tranquility. How can we foster Stoic adaptability in our everyday lives? One effective approach is to frequently remind ourselves of the transience of our current situation, whether we are enjoying success or dealing with difficulty. Acknowledging that these conditions are temporary helps us prepare for change, encouraging us not to cling too tightly to any specific state, which makes adapting to change more seamless when it occurs. An essential aspect of building adaptability is engaging in scenario planning. This involves envisioning various potential outcomes and devising responses for each. Such preparation not only alleviates anxiety about uncertainty, but also provides us with a flexible strategy that can be adjusted as circumstances change. This practice aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control. What role does detachment play in improving our adaptability? Stoics advocate for a balanced detachment from specific outcomes. By not anchoring our happiness or self-worth to any particular result, we maintain equilibrium and remain more prepared to adapt. This form of detachment is not about indifference, but about strategically refraining from attaching ourselves to aspects of life that are beyond our control. By adopting these Stoic practices, we strengthen our capacity to adapt effectively, to handle life's transitions with agility and assurance. Adaptability, according to Stoicism, involves not merely reacting, but actively engaging in a manner that is consistent with our core values and principles. This approach helps alleviate stress and enhances our effectiveness in both personal and professional realms. Why is self-mastery considered a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy? Stoics argue that genuine power comes from self-control and the ability to manage one's desires and impulses. Self-mastery involves aligning one's actions with reason and virtuous principles, thus freeing oneself from the control of uncontrolled reactions and external influence. This discipline enables individuals to live in harmony with their inherent rational and virtuous nature. Achieving self-mastery requires a commitment to self-awareness involves regularly monitoring our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors to identify patterns that do not align with our values. This continuous self-reflection allows us to make deliberate changes, ensuring our lives are in harmony with our philosophical beliefs and personal ideals. How can we develop self-mastery on a daily basis? One effective method is to set daily intentions centered around virtuous actions and self-discipline. Whether focusing on patience, generosity, or diligence, each day provides chances to reinforce our character. These small, consistent efforts build up over time, greatly enhancing our ability to achieve self-mastery. Another key component of self-mastery is the Stoic practice of embracing voluntary discomfort. By intentionally giving up certain pleasures or facing hardships, training ourselves to stay calm in less than ideal situations, helps us reduce our reliance on external factors and enhances our resilience and self-discipline. How does reflection contribute to self-mastery? Regularly reviewing our daily actions and decisions allows us to evaluate our progress and reaffirm our commitment to Stoic principles. This reflective process can be supported through journaling, meditation, or engaging in thoughtful conversations with others who share similar values. These practices provide valuable insights that guide further personal growth. By integrating these Stoic methods into our lives, we pave the way toward greater self-mastery. This journey not only improves our own lives, but also positively impacts those around us. The goal is not to achieve perfection, but to make consistent, genuine efforts toward a more disciplined and virtuous life. In pursuing self-mastery, we attain a profound sense of tranquility and satisfaction, reflecting the Stoic ideal of aligning with our true nature.